Hi folks, it's Tuesday in Holy Week, and in the Holy Week story, this is when a lot of Jesus' teaching takes place, mainly teaching in the temple courts and courtyards, but if you're looking at John's Gospel, it all seems to take place around the Last Supper, teaching his disciples. But in Matthew, Mark and Luke, in fact, Matthew 21 to 25, Mark 11 to 13, Luke 20 to 21, it all takes place in the temple courts with the Jewish teachers and lawyers and so on taking part in it. And a lot of it is about the conflict between Jesus and the Jewish teachers of the law. Jesus wanting to emphasize the new kingdom of God and what that might be like, as over against the religious structures that have been built up over centuries and centuries. And often Jesus is warning the Jews that if they don't turn to God, if they don't accept the kingdom, then they'll be cast out and God will go to the Gentiles instead. And then, of course, he begins to talk about the end time judgment, what's going to happen at the end of the age. So you get lots and lots of parables and stories and, frankly, horrific descriptions of what that might be like. It's a good time, isn't it, to think about these things and pay attention to the words of Jesus. Maybe we could even get creative and do some poems, some art, some pictures, some meditations about these large sections of teaching that appear towards the end of the Gospels. I also think for us it's a time of connecting with people. Perhaps you've been phoning friends and family, getting in touch with them. We're thinking about whether we can actually do an online meeting with Zoom or whatever towards the end of the week. It's not easy, is it, at the moment in lockdown? But let's spend these days in Holy Week just focusing on the message of Jesus and on what he has to say to his people today. So may the Lord bless you. And I'm going to close with the prayer for a pandemic that came out perhaps only about a week ago now, but which has spoken so much to people. May we who are merely inconvenienced remember those whose lives are at stake. May we who have no risk factors remember those most vulnerable. May we who have the luxury of working from home remember those who must choose between preserving their health or making their rent. May we who have the flexibility to care for our children when schools close remember those who have no options. May we who have to cancel our trips remember those who have no safe place to go. May we who are losing our margin money in the tumult of the economic market remember those who have no margin at all. May we who settle in for a quarantine at home remember those who have no home. As fear grips our country, let us choose love. During this time when we cannot physically wrap our arms around each other, let us yet find ways to be the loving embrace of God to our neighbours. May the Lord bless you at this time. Amen.